All right, so we're about to enter the house, set in the middle of the woods. This lot actually extends into Forest Park, so we took great care to preserve all the major trees. So here's a very interesting split fir tree, um, and we have it cabled up at the top so it won't come apart. And and immediately behind you is a great big cedar, and we literally designed the whole entry sequence of the house around that tree. So you come down to this grade from the street, and now you're in the middle of the woods. You're completely disassociated from the street above, and I would tell you in the summertime the temperature drops 10 degrees just walking down this walk. So we do not need to have air conditioning, and therefore we don't have it. The front door is obviously a Victorian salvage door, and all the doors in the house are salvaged doors, and it's painted bright colors to welcome you to visit our home.
Let's go inside.
Okay. So we're in the entry space. The house is really designed around a 9-foot entry space with a stair that connects all levels vertically, and then there are rooms off on either side. And as you can see, when you enter this space, you have visual access to many of the spaces in the house. So to the left is the family room, and to the right is the study, and beyond that the dining room, and in the far left the kitchen and kitchen eating area. So the whole living space is immediately visually present, and that does two things. It sort of invites you in and makes you sort of visually a part of the house from the beginning. It also makes the space seem much larger than it actually is. So a lot of this house is quite frankly theater, because that's what good architecture is. It makes you feel differently than you would imagine if this were just a series of rooms laid out on a plane. Let's go into the study.
Okay.
So this room is deliberately small and intimate. Most U.S. homes have spaces that are called living rooms, but they're usually too large to be intimate and friendly, and not large enough to have a big party. So we don't have a living room in the normal sense in this house. So this is the space that you could sit and read by yourself. You could have a few friends over and enjoy their company, maybe 6 or even 8 people at the most. A fireplace designed by Lee Kelly to sort of both warm you physically and emotionally. But again, it's a space that's meant to be cozy. It does, of course, look out, and people who sit here have said, oh, it's a tree house. You designed a tree house, because of course we are many feet above ground, and at the same moment you get a glimpse into the dining room below. And so if you imagine how people would be entertained, you bring them in from the entry, you have a cordial discussion, conversation in this room, and then you descend half a level down to the dining room, and as they descend down they can see the table laid out graciously with all of the accoutrements, and they look forward to dining. And again, that's the way the house is designed. It's designed to be a living experience, not a static thing at all. And it's very simple in many ways, and it's very complex in other ways. So it's simple in terms of the rooms, but it's spatially very complex. Now we're descending into the dining room. So this room, as you can see, is surrounded by windows. It looks out onto Forest Park, and it's a wonderful room, both day and night. And we can't tell you how many parties and how many people we've entertained in this room. It's a wonderful, gorgeous room. And at this point, you look back, you can see the study. You can see my little sign, and it's just very, very generous and appropriate. Now we're in the family room, and this is really where the family lives. Of course, it's close to the kitchen, so the food preparation and the food serving is all part of where we live. It's, again, not a large space, but it has a very high volume to it, so it never feels crowded. We've had 20 or 30 people in here, and it's just one of those flexible spaces that just seems to work. If we go into the kitchen, again, Carolyn wanted lots of daylight and wanted to look out into the park, so we just have a whole wall of windows over the main counter space, so she can cook and look out, open windows, and watch the squirrels playing in the trees out there. And of course, this scene changes with the seasons. She loves it when it's snowing. We're high enough up on the hill, so we will get a little bit of snow when everybody else is getting rain, and it just plays on the leaves and the branches. We descend into what is really a great room. As we move down into the space, you'll see the entry is a ceiling with 9-foot height, and then we can wander into a space which has 15-foot height. It's just a very flexible, large space. When the kids were young, they built forts down here. They heaped foam rubber and jumped from up there, and I mean, it was just a big playpen.
So I have to ask you, this gap right here is incredibly well thought out. I'm just thinking of any other house, and the floor would go all the way to this wall, and this wall would go all the way up.
Right. Again, a deliberate intention of making the spaces float apart, but they wouldn't be separated by full height walls. So you could sit, and when you're sitting, you feel very private. But when you stand up, you can see into the space either down below you or above you. So it is very much like a theater. And this slot allows the rooms to really appreciate each other, and it communicates the whole house, and it connects the stair. So on these levels, you're very aware that this stair just spirals all the way up. We're on the first bedroom level. So there are 2 large bedrooms and a bath complex on this level. On the right is the master bedroom. So it has high vaulted ceilings, and again, lots of view out into the woods. And now you really are at the top of the trees, so you really are at a tree house. And it's just people who stay with us and sleep in these rooms, they just love it. Very simple, but generous spaces, and again, vertically because of the sloping ceiling. You just feel like it's cozy where the bed is, but at the same time, it feels generous. So I always ask people to find the bathtub, and almost always they fail to find it. Well, if you really think about how you want to spend time in your bathtub, you'd like to lounge in it. This is an old-fashioned 6-foot-long clawfoot tub that is painted purple, and we get to it by a ladder, but it's warm because it's up at the top of the ceiling. The kids can come and go, and you can sit up there in total peace and just have a wonderful soaking bath. It's absolutely beyond anything. And now we'll go up to the top of the house. So this level has two small bedrooms, and then there's a loft in these bedrooms. We had a bed down here and a bed up there. And this is part of why I think the boys were the envy of their class. Of, oh, you have a cool house.
What kind of roof do you
Okay,
have?
it's a metal roof, galvanized metal and painted. That was very controversial with the bank. At the time we put that on, it just wasn't done as a residential roof. Mainly it was used for industrial or even agricultural buildings. The bank wanted me to put wood shingles on. I had to send it back to the loan committee 3 times. I said I live in a wooded environment. Those shingles would probably last 10 years at most. And I finally had to say to the banker, if you're not willing to approve the metal roof, I'm going to go get another bank. And they finally said, okay. It was really a deliberate intent to try to minimalize our living space. I mean, I think today people would call us sustainable. We didn't know the word existed when we built the place. But I think we always felt that it was our moral obligation to leave a very small footprint on the planet. It's wonderful to live in a house you've designed for 40 some years and still feel I would do it all over again. I mean, there isn't really anything I would change about this house. It fits its site, and it fits the neighborhood, and it fits us.
Fits us.
It
Yeah.
fits us.